Welcome to 7-Eleven Daily Summary with Bouchot. I am very excited to be here. What an amazing time to be alive. I am so blessed to be here with you and so blessed to be able to share these stories with you. Like I said, an amazing time to be alive and extraordinary things that we are going through. I want to thank you very much for joining me. And as usual, we are going to get into some, I think, some awesome information, intel coming at you tonight. I'm very excited about my next guest. This is my first time meeting him, first time learning about him and his story. And I think that you're going to be very surprised and excited to hear this story as well. Before I get started, I always want to say thank you to the circle of influence, the people that have shaped me and brought me here. This is, like I said, an amazing time, and friends, family, and God has brought me to this place, and I am so grateful. One of the other things that I like to tell you about, and it comes from a very personal side of me, is in 2021, when the government of Canada was shutting down bank accounts, I realized that I needed to make a change, and all Canadians needed to look for better options than the large banks that were going to shut you out of your money, whether you liked it or not. I found the Bow Valley Credit Union. Bow Valley Credit Union is going to be sort of a foundation for Alberta as we build our nation here. Bow Valley Credit Union, offered me and you options that you can get outside of the big banks. So give them a look, give them an opportunity to win over your trust. I know none of us really trust these big banks, but go through my website, unscrewthenews.com, click on the link for Bow Valley Credit Union, and you will be taken to their website. You can explore all of their options. They are doing a very simple, safe, and secure way to get Bitcoin. If you're not familiar, jump on in. If you have any questions, hit me up. All right, we're going to get into this right now. From the heart of the Battle Ready Nation, I come to you from Alberta. We bring you truth and optimism. Our goal is to break free from the media and globalist mind control. It is October 17th, 2025. This is episode number 204. We are going to get into Forbidden Talk with Dan Burmawi. Wow, this is going to be exciting. So strap in, get your seatbelts on. I'm going to bring Dan on the stage here. Thank you very much for joining me, Dan. It is a pleasure to have you, sir. Oh, sorry. Hang on 1 second. I muted you. I apologize. There you go.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm excited to get into it. I'm just going to read to the audience a little bit about you, and then I'll have you explain a bit more. But Dan Burmawi is a commentator in political religious affairs and a leading voice in countering terrorism, radical movements, and the ideologies that fuel them. He holds a Master in Theological Studies, and is the author of Islam, Israel, and the West, which I now have on my website. You can go right through unscrewthenews.com, goes right to his book. You can see it there. He also has another book called The God of My Grandmother in Arabic. A former Muslim who converted to Christianity, Danny's life trajectory from Jordan to Lebanon to the United States has given him a unique vantage point on the clash between faith, politics, and ideology. He has led NGOs across the Middle East and the US, equipping leaders, training institutions, and advising them on both religious and policy strategy. Wow. What a history and the information that you have to share with us. I'm very excited to have you, sir. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Yeah, it was a tough journey. It's never easy for anyone to abandon the faith that he was born into and grew up into. And that was, of course, life-changing experience, and that determined my decisions for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you came from Jordan, and then your family moved to Lebanon. Is that what I understand?
No, not my family. It was only me. After conversion, I could not practice my faith in Jordan, and due to security matters, I had to leave Jordan when I was only 19 years old. And I went to Lebanon. Some friends online suggested that I go to Lebanon because Lebanon is like the only country in the Middle East, except Israel, of course, where there's some room for religious freedom, I would say. Yeah.
So okay, so Jordan was not accepting of the Christianity faith. Is that right? So you had.
There are Christians in Jordan. There are about 2%, but
Mhm.
converting from Islam to Christianity is not allowed.
I see.
It's not allowed not only on the legal level, but on the public level. You could be harassed, persecuted, and
Yes.
in most cases killed because of apostasy. Yeah.
Is that right? Wow. So friends, family, and neighbors would have outcast you, or worse, killed you.
Yeah, I was so blessed that my family did not do that. However, many cases in Jordan, people who made similar decision ended up dead. And usually, yes, people would take a matter like this in their own hands because they look at it as blasphemy. Um, they would go to, of course, they will be punished by the law, but probably it's going to be softened sentence. But yeah, it's never safe for anyone in the Islamic world to leave Islam um, and stay in their country. It's not really safe, and except in some exceptional cases.
Wow, that is astounding. So I want to get into this. I want to show your book, though, briefly, if we could, and then I want to talk about some more. So I have
Sure.
uploaded your book right here. If you go to books and businesses, right in here, I've got your Islam, Israel, and the West. We click on that, and it will take you to your book. Do you want to give us a sort of a synopsis of what it has taken you to obviously compile the information in the Islam, Israel, and the West?
So after October 7, it was obvious that the West keeps getting the Arab-Israeli conflict wrong. But after October 7, it was not only the government, it was not only the diplomats. Now we have the streets of the Western cities turned into stages for different ideologies trying to capitalize on the so-called Palestinian cause. And I needed to explain to the West what the hell is going on there. What is this
Right.
conflict? Is it a territorial dispute? Or is it something else? Is Israel oppressing Hamas? So, in order to do that, I had to start at the beginning by um, trying to explain what Islam is, because there's a lot of confusion in the West about Islam, especially after 9/11.
Right.
At the beginning, Islam was seen as a religion of terrorism. Then abruptly, it was introduced or reintroduced as a religion of peace, using the words of George W. Bush. I'm sorry. Um, he said that Islam is a religion of peace, and terrorist groups have nothing to do with Islam. They hijacked the faith, their fringe. Then Islam was somehow it's the idea grew in the West that Islam is not only not a religion of terrorism, but Islam is a great religion, and it's the religion of the oppressed. So Islam moved on the spectrum from being the religion of the oppressor to the religion of the oppressed.
Right.
So I had to explain the nature of Islam. Islam is not only a religion, it is a political ideology. It has all the elements that qualifies it to be considered a political ideology, just like conservatism, communism, Nazism, absolutely identical in the elements. in which Islam offers belief system, a set of values that aims to reshape the society. But not only that, because Christianity has that, Judaism has that.
Sure.
No, it goes far beyond that to seeking political power in order to impose that value system on the people. So that what makes Islam a political ideology. That ambition, that commandment, sacred pursuant of political power. So after that, once we have established that in the book, I started talking about the history of the Arab-Israeli conflict, but from a different perspective. It's like all the books try to prove that, Israel has the right and look at history. I did something different. I tried to show that the history of the caliphate is the reason it was not the history of Israel. So the caliphate, I know that term, not everybody is familiar with the term, but if you go through the history of how the Islamic Empire, that is the caliphate, how the Islamic Empire fell in 1924, how that sparked or caused the emergence of all the Islamic terrorist organizations that are seeking to reestablish the caliphate, and Israel happened to be an obstacle.
Right.
So, and that's the reason behind the conflict.
Holy smokes. Okay, so you're going to hopefully be able to settle this for me, because I know myself, my viewers are probably way smarter than me, but I really have trouble trying to put the pieces together as far as Israel, Islam, and where we fit into that. Can I ask you a bit more?
But of course, that's not everything in the book. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
I just need to get a napkin.
Yeah, please.
Thank you so much. So I tried to explain. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. You go ahead.
I tried to explain how Israel and what's happening to Israel and what has been happening since 1948 is the blueprint for what's going to happen in the West. It's the same situation that Israel found itself in is what the Western powers are going to experience as the new reality, because the West has become the new center for Islamic Jihad. And it's so scary, and I don't mean to be fear-mongerer, but I cannot help but to see it. What's happening now in Europe, in Canada, these enclaves, no-go zones. At one point, of course, now the governments are accommodating them. They're just bending to them, giving them whatever they ask for. But at one point, the government will reach a point where they cannot accommodate them anymore. They cannot make any more compromises. At that point, that the reason to bear arm will be manufactured. Islamophobia, oppression, we need our rights. At that point, we reach the face of the militia. And from there on, we will have separationism, calls for independence, civil war, of course. And that's how we end up with each country of those countries in Western Europe will be divided into probably 10, 15, 20 different countries.
Holy smokes. Okay, so again, you've sort of lit a bomb, or lit a fuse on a bomb. And now I got to try and put the pieces together to understand it. So, so are you saying that, okay, so you're saying that the Western world is going to suffer the same fate as Israel. Can you explain that so that we understand what Israel has faced, so that we understand what is coming towards us? What has Israel faced?
All right. So basically, Israel declared sovereignty. When Israel was established in 1948,
Mm-hmm.
that was a statement. We don't want to live under Islamic rule. We want sovereignty and independence. We want to rule ourselves. And that's what started the war against Israel, because no non-Muslim country is allowed to have sovereignty on what is understood to be an Islamic land.
I see.
And an Islamic land is any land that was occupied by Islam for any amount of time, even for an hour, it becomes Islamic.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what started the war. But of course, they never say, yeah, this is jihad. They don't say that in English, but in Arabic, yeah, they always say it. But anyway, they don't say jihad. They say, oh, liberating Palestine, justice for the Palestinians, all kind of manufactured terminologies just for Western consumption.
Right.
But in
So
Arabic, it's jihad. Yeah.
Islamophobia is meant to create the slip in, so that they're creating themselves as the victim. Is what Islamophobia
Islamophobia
is?
it's a made-up term that
Yeah.
was designed to protect Islam from scrutiny.
Right.
Because what is Islamophobia? It's like, seriously, just think about it. Are you allowed to criticize Christianity?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to criticize Judaism? Okay. Is there anything like Christianophobia or Judeophobia? There's no such a thing.
Definitely no. Yeah.
Anti-Semitism is different from Islamophobia. Anti-Semitism is not the criticism of the religion. You're not an anti-Semite if you criticize Moses or
Right.
David. But if you have unjustified hatred toward a group of people, and that's the Jews, Islamophobia is made up, and I said it made up because it confuses you. It's like it turned Islam into a race. Islam is not a race.
Right.
Islam is a religion. So what does that mean exactly? Am I allowed to criticize the Islamic sacred scripture? Am I allowed to criticize Muhammad and his battles and his raids and the commandments of Allah to declare jihad against the world? How is that Islamophobic? No, it's a rational fear of Islam. Now, if you have unjustified hatred toward Muslims, then yeah, you're an Islamophobe. But if you are just learning from history, you are alerted because of the 60,000 plus terrorist attacks that took place in more than 70 different countries in the last 25 years alone. So it's like, yeah, it's like, how come 96% of all terrorist organizations worldwide are Islamic? I need explanation. Otherwise, yeah, Islam is problematic. Islam is the problem. So yeah, back to the point of Israel. So Israel, the war against Israel was declared based on this reason. And especially, as I said, after the fall of the Islamic Caliphate in 1924, for the first time since the days of Muhammad, Muslims found themselves without a caliphate, and suddenly you have a Jewish state being declared independent, sovereign on what is perceived to be an Islamic land. So that was the reason, and still the reason until today, for the whole thing. In the West, this is going to play out absolutely the same way, but it's in a different direction. So instead of projecting to the establishment of an infidel state, the established infidel state will be seen as oppressing the minority, the Islamic minority, and that would legitimize their demands for independence, and that what would start the conflict, the violence, which will eventually lead to separation for sure, because you have 57 or 56 Islamic countries who are definitely are going to come to help their Muslim brothers wherever they are, because this is the nature of Islam. Islam is a tribal, and the Islamic countries have always helped the militias. For example, in Lebanon, it was a beautiful Christian country, and they welcomed people from different religions and different backgrounds. But when the Palestinians tried to take over Lebanon, the Islamic countries supported the Palestinians against the indigenous Christian people, and the civil war lasted for 15 years as a result of that.
Okay, so I looked through a number of your videos trying to get a sense of who you were. And there were some, obviously, the words that you're saying and the way that you're saying them is pretty scary. And, I'm hoping it's going to wake some people up. But, on the outside, it looks pretty scary and it looks a bit fearful. So I think that you're trying to get the message across that they should be fearful. Is that really what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm really sorry that I am seen as someone who carries the bad news. But
of course, yeah.
this is the reality. If people prefer the false narrative, or if they want to be lied to in order to experience comfort, they don't want to think about all of these scenarios because they're scary and they don't want to deal with them. And of course, we understand from our evolution that we try to cast, we are anxious people. However, we don't want to experience anxiety, so we just push it to the side. We try to find things that to make us comfortable. But this is the reality. The more Muslim immigrants make it to the West, and I'm not saying that all Muslims are plotting against the West. This is
that was my next question. Yes.
This is not what I mean. The absolute majority of Muslims, they migrate to the West, not thinking about taking over the West. They are just thinking of a better life for their families. They want to keep food on the table. They want a roof above their heads. However, they are conditioned to always side with Islamic causes.
Right. And the tribalism. Yeah.
And we have the Islamic movements, which the West called Islamist, who are actively working toward infiltrating the institutions. And at one point, when they have the upper hand, for example, in the UK, once the Islamic movements are done with the Labour Party, they will just kick them out. It's like they're not needed anymore.
Right.
Because now the Labour Party is empowering the Islamist movement, and because they are depending on the Muslims' votes. But they don't know that once they have empowered the Islamic movement enough, the Labour Party is gone. Then the Muslims population, they are going to side with the Islamists.
Right.
Muslims are not going to side against Islamists. So you get my point here. I'm not talking against all Muslims. Absolutely not. It's like majority of them, again, they have nothing to do with politics.
But you can't help it.
But the moment they go to vote, they will always vote for the Islamist.
Right. Okay. So what's going on? And I don't want to get away from Israel and Islam and Palestine, especially, but I needed to rest a little bit. So I come back to it and we can have sort of fresh eyes. Mamdani in New York, obviously he's not necessarily, I don't think he's a good character. So what's going on in New York? Because this looks like I know it's happening in other areas. Minneapolis is another example, right? It's a takeover from what I can see. Do I have the wrong eyes on, or do I have the wrong colored glasses, or is that really what I'm seeing?
You know, people used to believe that um, when you fall, when you are old and you fall, then after that, as a result of the fall, your hip gets broken.
Sure.
But we know from science, from medicine, that's not true. Your hip breaks first, then you fall.
Mm,
Um, that's what's happening in the West and in the United States in particular. It's internal thing. It's the younger Americans were broken into they were molded to hate their country, their identity, their
mhm,
civilization. They were taught that America is the great Satan. America is an imperialist power that has oppressed people all over the world. That America is a wealthy country as a result of theft and exploiting other cultures and other group of people. So if I belong to a family where my father is in the mafia, and I believe that I am a decent person, I want my dad, even though I hate it, I hate to see that, but I want him to be stopped and I
mhm.
want him to go to jail. This is the description of the younger Americans. Unfortunately, they look at the United States government as mafia lord, and they want it to be stopped at any cost. That made them fragile and push them to believe or make them open to believe these narratives of the radical left and of Islam, because both forces, they look at the United States and the West in general as these power structures that must be fought against, must be destroyed, dismantled. Of course, for totally different reasons. The radical left, they want to bring about their utopia, imaginary utopia, and Islam wants to establish the rule of Allah. But now they found this common interest, and you have again, as I said, you have a broken hip in America, and you have these ideologies that's infiltrating the landscape. That's what made Mamdani appealing,
Mhm.
because I call him the embryo of the Islamo left incest, because I believe it's an incest relationship between Islam and the left. Both tyrannical supremacist ideologies, or totalitarian ideologies, to use the terms right. And they're like a brother and sister, and they're having this forbidden relationship. And you are looking at the embryo, which we need to abort.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go back and I want to find out. So what was it in you that made you change and made you look at Islam or a Muslim or Islam and say this is not what I want to do anymore? What was it in you? Because you're a rarity. I mean, you said that people are killed or they're exiled or um, uh, whatever the case is in Jordan. So what is it in you that rose up and made you look at things differently?
It was absolutely for spiritual reasons. Islam was not satisfying on the spiritual level after the Danish cartoonist controversy in 2006.
Right.
I dedicated my life to serve Islam and to defend the Prophet. And then after a year, I felt this hollow, this emptiness inside my heart. Islam was not able to provide any real answers to the relationship between man and God. The Islamic God, with his transcendence and his foreign attributes, is just a shell. Islam is all about politics, is all about taking power and submission and control. So spiritually, Islam could not fulfill me. So, and that, of course, it's a long story, but God sent my way someone who introduced me to the New Testament, and I ended up reading the Bible and believing in Jesus Christ and converted to Christianity. And yeah, but of course, the Islamic, I would say the how Islam shapes the society, how Islam shapes the individual. That is something I got to learn later and to dig deep into through study and analysis and observation. But at the beginning, it was only for spiritual reasons.
Right. Okay. Can I play this video that I talked to you about? It's on your X profile here, and I'm just going to bring that up here. Stand by, because I think it fits into what we're talking about right now. This is a post by you, and it says, "You let the camel's nose in the tent, and soon the whole camel is inside." So I'm going to play this, and then you're going to explain it for us, if that's okay.
Please go ahead.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! ويا اسمس حرام! حرام يا اسمس فيش! الله أكبر! الله أكبر! وتوفت بمقت حلال! الله أكبر!
All right. So what's going on here?
So any of these guys back home where they come from, they were oppressed, living under dictatorships and tyrannical regimes. If any one of them does something like this, they would be taken to prison after getting something physical. It's like after being beaten physically, you know? It's like, so of course, when they come to the West and you have tolerance, you have laws, equality, free people who are not used to suppress their feelings or anything. So you have Muslims wants to imitate that and then want to exploit that and then want to use the system against itself.
Right.
So it's not only this video. We have thousands and thousands of videos to prove what I'm saying. I'm not making this up.
Oh, well, we see it all the time in Canada.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some kind of experience. They are experiencing freedom for the first time in the West, and at the same time, they see the West weak, and they're able to exploit it. They are, for example, I'll give you an example. You have many pro-Hamas individuals who kept saying things like, criticizing the American government, the US government. They kept saying things like, our tax dollar, our government shouldn't do this. Our government shouldn't support Israel. We need to hold the government accountable. And some of them, they just recently came from Egypt, for example.
Yes.
Just a few years ago. In Egypt, they should just, of course, they couldn't say any of that. Absolutely nothing. And now suddenly they want to teach the American government how to, to organize its matter. And you might say, okay, but this is their right. They are American citizens now. They have the right to do that. Yes, that's true, but it's not organic. It's not something innate in them. It's not something that they have inherited. It's not something they grew up practicing. It's new to them. So they don't care about it, but they're using it to advance their own agenda. So they hate Israel. Oh, let's exercise our rights in America. Right. But they don't care about their rights because they never knew them.
Right. That's what I was going to say, is that they never had rights. So now they're a teenager that's just learned that they can drink. Is it similar to that?
They're now
And
fighting.
they're drunk
Right?
on
Yeah,
power
yeah. Now they're fighting for their rights, which they have never seen in their life.
because they
So
lived in a dictatorship,
this is why
right?
it's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go again.
They lived in a dictatorship prior to that, and they never had the ability to speak out. Is that what I'm understanding?
This is only one reason, as I said.
Yeah.
But since they are capable of speaking up, now they are exploiting that right in order to serve their ideology.
Mhm.
So they know
And
that
there's nothing stopping them.
you cannot stop them. What are you going to do? Are you going to change the laws of the land
Right.
to stop them? That's the problem. When you have parasites, and I don't want to sound offensive. When you have a cancer,
Yes.
when you have a cancer growing in your body,
Yeah.
you have to do chemotherapy, you end up hurting other organs. You end up weakening your immunity. It's like your body is collapsing because you are fighting the cancer. I believe that many of the immigrants who made it to the West, looking for a better future, and ended up in the circles of the Islamic movements that have agendas, they are participating in activities that are similar to cancer in the body.
Yeah. Right.
And for example, I'll give you an example. In the Arab world, our people don't care about election. Zero, nothing. We never cared. Some people vote because their cousin is running for the parliament, for example. Or
Okay. Yeah.
it's like, I remember in the last election in Jordan, the rate was 23%. So people don't really care about practicing this right, because they don't. It doesn't mean anything. At the end
Because
of
there
the
is no
day,
right. Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not going to change anything. Now they come to the West, and the Islamic movements are recruiting people, training them, having. It's like the rate of people who go out and vote in America among Muslims is really high, and
Right.
in Europe as well. So why do you think this happened? Is it because they are very much concerned about the political process in the West? Is it because they are trying to improve the West to make it a better place? Why? You got to ask yourself these questions. It's like, if somebody is coming from Somalia and they made it to Texas, it's like Texas is already 1 billion times better than Somalia.
Right.
And suddenly they are very active, participating in the political process. Why? What are you trying to offer to America to make it a better place? Yes, it's your right to vote. Yeah. But why? What is your motivation? Is it to make America a better place? You want to introduce better policies to advance the economy? To what? What is exactly that you're trying to accomplish? It is one thing, electing more officials who would help in advancing the Islamic expansion of the West.
Well,
It's as
Elon
simple as that.
Omar. Yeah, Elon Omar is the perfect example, right? You're
Yeah,
probably familiar.
Ilhan Omar coming from Somalia,
Yeah.
and Somalia is a great country, and she wants to make America like Somalia.
Well, she wants to advance the Somalian efforts, and that she says it outright. There's no hiding it. She's not even apologetic when it comes to that. We have the same issues here in Canada. I know that you said that you have some ties in Canada. Can you talk to the Canadian people directly and say, this is what you're facing today in Canada? How do you express that?
Just look at the immigration system, how it was used and abused by millions of immigrants. The chain migration.
Chain migration, yeah.
It's not the chain migration. No, it's the work visas turned into chain migration. What I mean by that, it's like one guy makes it to Toronto, and that guy would manage to get 100 family members into Canada.
Yes.
By fabricating contracts, by whatever. They end up in Canada. Then you have the system itself being exploited. They never, I'm talking about a high number among immigrants. I'm not talking about Muslims in particular. I'm talking about people coming from dictatorships around the world.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because when you live under a dictatorship, you are transformed. You don't care about the public property. You only care about your survival. What could I get out of this, of anything? Because you're in survival mode all the time when you live.
Because that's how you grew up. That's how you grew up.
So
yeah.
they come to Canada. They don't care about public property. They don't see. They own it. They don't share it. They don't care about it. That's why you end up seeing a lot of garbage everywhere. It's not because they're not clean. Actually, they're very clean inside their homes, but they don't care about the public property because it's not ours. It's not mine. I don't share. It's like it belongs to the government. So let's try to squeeze the government, milk the system in a way that I get the most benefit out of it. So where there is a way to benefit from the system, they will exploit it. And Canada, being kind and nice people, they kept ignoring this for a very long time, and now you have all of these problems. You have housing problem in Canada. People cannot buy houses. You don't. It's like a 2-bedroom apartment is $1 million or something like that. People don't have jobs. They stand in lines all day long just to fill an application to get a job. While at the same time you have the immigrants in Canada, they don't care about any of these problems because immigrants could live every 20 people together in one house. They could, and then of course they get support from the government. They, in the UK, for example, I'm not sure of the number, so I don't want to make a mistake, but 53% of all Muslim immigrants in the UK, they live off social services.
Wow.
They don't work.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how all of these things are ignored, and with the process of time, I will tell you how this is going to change the society from within. You leave at your father's tomb, at his grave, you leave flowers. An immigrant goes to the graveyard and steal the flowers. And they sell them for, I don't know, a couple dollars or whatever. And I'm not making this up. It's a video. There was a video from the Netherlands, I believe. It was an immigrant. She was a Muslim immigrant who stole flowers from the graveyard. Okay, next time you're not going to leave flowers, because what's the point? They're gonna steal them.
You're right.
So how is that going to affect the chain of effect that is going to happen? It's like you might think, oh, this is simple, this is nothing, but it's not nothing. It's going to change. It's going to create a wave of changes that is going to transform the society. the West is a high trust society. You're importing people who don't understand what is high trust.
Right.
So how is that going to reshape the society? A lot of things. I could speak hours and hours about this. It's like I don't really know where to begin, where to start talking about how this is catastrophic to the West, and it's going to erase the Western civilization. It's going to just replace it. It's like when you import more people who have more children, and you don't have children. With the process of time, their ethical framework, is going to be installed in the land, and your ethical framework is going to be just pushed aside
wiped out.
Wiped out. So that is how the Western civilization is going to end if the Western governments, Western countries don't make very difficult decisions now.
You know, I invited you on here because I wanted you to explain this, and you've explained it so well. I really appreciate it. But I want to ask you your opinion. I don't know how much you know about Alberta, but we are in the process. The people of Alberta and a good portion of us have decided that we need walls around Alberta, and we're going to separate from Canada because it is a massive, massive disaster. You know, in many more ways than just what you're talking about now. It is completely out of control. I know that the people that are leading Canada, they're not doing this by accident, because you're making it sound like some of these people are doing it. Oh, well, they're just so lazy. But no, I believe in Canada. I don't know about the United States as much, but I do know that in Canada, it seems like it's completely 100%
no, the majority
control.
The majority of them are not doing it intentionally.
Oh, you mean the Muslims?
The Muslims?
No, I mean our government is.
Oh, the government. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I don't like conspiracy theories. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And when it comes to government, they are people, right? Sure. The government is individuals, and they are similar to everyone else. They are self-interested, self-centered. They're seeking what works for them, what keeps them in power the longer. This is what's happening in France or in the UK, for example. In France, Emmanuel Macron's party, they are now appeasing the Muslims' vote because Muslims have 2.8 million voters, while they have only 250,000 Jewish voters. So they don't care about the Jews anymore. So this is what's happening there. In Canada, I don't. It's not my position to talk about the Canadian government. What's going on? I don't know. I don't follow the political news in Canada, but I know that it is the same mentality, the same as Dr. Gatsad calls it, the suicidal mentality or suicidal empathy that has taken the West captive. Each one has their own reasons, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to fear of confrontation. They don't want to be labeled bigots or hateful, xenophobic, all of these things. Like I just want to do my job without having to go through that tunnel of uncertainty.
Right.
But what they are doing is they are kicking the can down the road, right? It's like they keep just ignoring the reality, and one day it's going to explode. But instead of dealing with it right now, they keep delaying the inevitable.
Right.
And at one point, it's going to be at a time where the other side is more powerful, that you have lost your leverage, you have lost your advantage. You can't deal with it.
So you're talking, you came on talking about Israel but we also are talking about what's happening in Europe, and you mentioned France and the UK, and I think the UK, to you, so I'm asking your opinion on this one. So is the UK farther ahead than anybody else in the West as far as going down the infiltration of Islamicism?
I don't think so. I think the problem is in Belgium, in Sweden, in Denmark,
Yeah,
in France, in some regions in Germany, and in the UK. But in the UK, it's not far ahead, but it's probably more, it gets more exposure,
I
more
see. It's prominent.
systematic.
Right.
Yeah, more systematic. There are different reasons why we hear more about the UK. But if you remember, in Denmark and in Sweden, the news, it's like a couple of years ago, the news were about, Muslims, immigrants were protesting on the streets against Islamophobia, or somebody burned the Quran or something like
Right.
that. And you
Right.
get to see more crazy things that what we see in the UK, actually. And if you travel to Europe, and I, I used to go, before I moved to the US, I used to go to Europe every year, a couple times, tour 10 different countries in Europe. And I got to see with my own eyes what's going on. I'll give you an example. In Germany, in southern Germany, I met a family, a man who's married to two women, and had 8 children, and the German government used to pay him 300 euros per child. That
Wow.
is like almost 4,000 euros a month, and they gave him 2 apartments, and he doesn't work. He didn't work, so I asked him, "Why you don't work?" And he said, "No, if I work, they're gonna cut from the money. I don't want to
Sure.
lose. I don't want to lose the money." So yeah, and just use that to see what's going on. It's like how many people are doing the same
Yeah.
thing. It's like, yeah.
Of course. That it's astounding. Now, what? So, in a number of videos, I saw that you were talking about Islam not being able to coexist. Can you explain that in regard to Islam and the West?
Yeah, it's pretty simple actually. In order to exist in a pluralistic society, you need to believe in freedom of religion, and you need to believe in pluralism,
Yeah,
right?
pluralism. Yep.
Yeah. So if you believe in these things, then you can coexist with other people. It's like they're free to worship different deity, different religion. They're free to be different as long as we agree on the common ground, which
Right.
is important, then it's okay. Now, if you're a Muslim, in Islam, there's no such a thing as pluralism. There's no such a thing as freedom of religions. Nothing like that. So any Muslim in the world, this is not accusation. This is not made up. This is just plain facts, okay? Any Muslim in the world, ask them, do you believe in freedom of religions? If they say yes, then either they are lying to you or they are not Muslim. They don't know.
Wow. Wow.
Because in Islam, Islam must be supreme. It's in the Quran. Allah has sent Muhammad to make his religion above all other religions.
Yeah.
And Muslims are ordered, commanded to establish the rule of Allah wherever they live. And under the rule of Allah, if you're not a Muslim, if you're a Christian or a Jew, you pay jizya tax. If you are a polytheist, you get killed. So,
Wow.
so Islam cannot coexist with other religions.
Right. So, wow, I don't know where to go from here. But so, what you're saying in Israel and Palestine, what Israel is going through right now, can you explain to us? So, you talked about October 7th, and that was sort of the catalyst and what spurred you to write the book.
Yeah.
So, what happened between Israel and Palestine or Gaza? Am I right to say this? I mean, so was there an attack on Israel, and was it because they're on Palestinian land? Is that what you're trying to say, or is that what you were saying?
No, October 7 in particular, it happened to sabotage the peace talks between Israel and Saudi Arabia. It
I
was
see.
funded. It was funded by Iran. So this attack, it had an objective, and that was to be so uh, big, so damaging that Israel would retaliate 100%,
Right.
so the peace talks would be stopped.
I
That was
see.
the goal of October 7th. But in
And
general, yeah,
and it
go ahead.
achieved the goal then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They achieved it.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, they just threw us back 70 years.
Right.
But in general, Israel is accused to be an expansionist state, right?
Right.
Everybody's saying, yeah, Israel wants to expand. Israel is a colonialist state. Israel is doing this and that. It's like, just look at Israel for 77 years, 78 years. How much expansion exactly did Israel accomplish? It's like, just think about it. It's like, okay, Israel started in 1948,
Yeah.
this size, and today it's this size. It's not this size.
Right.
So it's Israel, which is very
Yeah.
successful in almost everything. They managed to become one of the greatest economy in the world, uh, uh, even as they are living under perpetual war. They managed to make their GDP $600 billion a year. The innovation, the military power, yet they suck at expansion. Yeah.
So essentially, you're saying that we've been lied to again, and they're not an expansionary colonialist government
Israel, listen, Israel between 1948 and 1967 took the land that was assigned to it by the United Nations.
Right.
It was like 23% of the total size of the so-called historical Palestine. And Israel said, okay, this is good. Thank you so much. I'm going to live on this land.
Right.
Between 1948 and 1967, I'm sorry, in 1948, they said, okay, we only want this land. The 5 Arab armies attacked Israel in 1948.
I see.
They wanted just to destroy Israel. So Israel had to take land in response to that attack and kept that land because the other side who attacked Israel did not say, okay, we're done. We don't want to attack anymore. Give us our land back.
Right.
No, they kept saying, give us the land and we're going to attack you again.
Right.
So Israel said, okay, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Then in 1967, they managed to attack Israel again. So Israel took more land.
Right.
And now Israel is saying, Israel said to Egypt, hey, Egypt, do you want to have peace? And Egypt said, yes. And Israel said, okay, all right, here's your land. And returned the Sinai Peninsula, which is bigger than Israel. Okay.
Yeah.
Then Israel said to Syria, hey, Syria, do you want to have peace? And this is not, I'm not making this up again. President of Egypt, Mohammed Hosni Mubarak, he was a witness. He said this in an interview. He said, yes, Isaac Rabin, he talked to me. He said, please talk to Hafid al-Assad, the president of Syria, and ask him if he would have peace with us in exchange for the Golan Heights. We will get give the Golan Heights back. But Hafid al-Assad said, no, I don't want to have peace. I want the land, but I don't want to have peace with you. I want to wipe you off the face of the earth. Israel said, okay, when you want to have peace, let's talk about it, okay? In 2000, Israel, in 1984, Israel occupied a small piece of land in Lebanon, in southern Lebanon, to push against Hezbollah and to push against the Palestinian militias at the time. In 2000, Israel said, all right, here's the land, because there was a lot of fighting with Hezbollah, but Hezbollah is a militia, it's not the state. So the state is not fighting us. Okay, we're leaving. They left in 2000. In 2005, they said, okay, we're leaving Gaza. They left Gaza. And in 1994 and in 2000, they offered the Palestinians to leave the West Bank. They said, okay, we're going to leave the West Bank, which is historically Judea and Samaria, which is a Jewish land. But they said, okay, we're gonna leave. But the Palestinians said, no, we don't want that. Now, all the Arabs and the Islamic countries, they keep saying, we want the two-state solution. We want the two-state solution. Do you know what the two-state solution is? What they're talking about? It's the same borders they had before 1967, before they attacked Israel.
Right.
So why did you attack Israel if you want two-state solution? So Israel is saying, as long as there is no guarantee for security and no guarantee for perpetual peace, we're not giving up on the West Bank.
We're not backing down if you guys are continuing to attack. Right.
Yeah, and the settlement, by the way, they were built as, at the beginning, the Israeli government, they actually were against building any settlements. The radical religious Jewish groups who built the first settlements in the West Bank, they didn't get permission from the Israeli government. There was a clash between them. But then Israel was convinced that for security reasons, give these groups permission. In 1994, when Isaac Rabin in Oslo, he offered to withdraw from the West Bank. And in 2000, when Ehud Barak made or expanded on that offer, on that deal, they were actually willing to take down the settlements and leave. Right. Just like they left Gaza. It's not impossible. The Arabs keep saying that, with the settlements, Israel is saying we will never leave. Yes, they will never leave as long as there's no security guarantees. But look at Gaza. They had 10,000 people there, settlements. They took them down. They dug the ground and took the bodies of the Israelis, the dead Jewish people, and took them out of Gaza. Why didn't you build a state in Gaza? Why didn't you build a beautiful city? Why didn't you use billions of dollars that were poured into Gaza to build schools and universities? Why not? Why forget all of that? Because schools and hospitals were built by the aids that's coming from different countries around the world.
I see.
Why did you invest that money in building tunnels bigger than the Metro of London?
Right.
So they failed. They failed to show Israel that peace is possible if Israel withdraw. And now they are asking Israel to withdraw from the West Bank. It's like Israel has to be suicidal to withdraw from the West Bank. I'm not a Jew. I'm not from Israel. And I'm telling you, they would be stupid to withdraw from the West Bank after what we have seen happening in Gaza.
Wow. All right. So, Dan, amazing story, amazing information that you're passing on. Obviously, hopefully you've scared the bejesus out of Canadians and Westerners in general. Let's hope. And we can do something about it. Here's a question for you, maybe a little bit controversial. Why do we trust you?
don't trust me. I don't want anybody to trust me. I want you to I want you to
Questions.
just
Yeah.
read history, have some critical thinking, for God's sake. Don't avoid facing the reality, the scary reality, at the expense of your safety and the survival of the Western civilization.
Yeah.
Just look at the pattern, what is happening wherever Islam becomes a majority.
Yeah.
Just give me one example, for God's sake, one example of a country where Islam became a majority and there was peace, or there was respect and rights for minorities. Just one
Yeah.
example. None. There is nothing.
Coexistence. Yeah. Coexistence. You
Many
can't do
people
it.
keep saying United Arab Emirates, United Arab Emirates. Come on. United Arab Emirates is not an Islamic country. It is a country that has imported the Western values and applied them. And they kept the shell of Islam. They call themselves Islamic country culturally, but they have absolutely nothing to do with Islam in any of their policies, any in their economy. It's all imported. And beside that, they are only 10% of the population. You have 90% foreigners. So don't use Dubai. Don't say like Tucker Carlson. It's like Tucker Carlson saying, "Oh, Dubai is more beautiful than Baltimore." Oh, it's like, come on. Dubai is a cosmopolitan country. It's all about money. There is no right. There is no rights if you are not a citizen, and you will never get a citizenship. It doesn't matter if you live there 100 years or 1,000 years. You will never get a citizenship. You're disposable. If you make a mistake, you're out. In Baltimore, you have part of the Western civilization where policies failed. It's not because Islam succeeded in making Dubai beautiful. That is false. And Tucker Carlson is pushing this false narrative. Sharia is not scary. All of this because, I don't know, he's friends with Qatar. His new boyfriends there. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
So we should be. So this is one thing that we didn't talk about specifically, but Sharia law, which is part of the Quran. I mean, we should be afraid of this. We should be aware of it.
No, I don't care about Sharia law. Sharia law is people are really making a big thing out of Sharia law. Even Islamic countries are not applying Sharia law. Sharia law is it's like the system, the laws that manage the Islamic State. And it has within it brutal punishment laws, but it's not. No Islamic country in the world is 100% applying Sharia law. Saudi Arabia tried, Somalia, Afghanistan, but I'm not concerned about Sharia law because it's antithetical to human beings. So even Muslims themselves don't apply it. I'm afraid for the Western values that would be crushed. And I'm talking about freedom of speech, freedom for religion, the intrinsic value of a human being, the justice system under Islam or under an Islamic majority country. If you are not affiliated to Islam, you won't get justice because in Islam, your value is determined by your religious affiliation. You cannot speak, you cannot practice your faith. These are the things that I'm concerned about, not really the public beheading or morality police or no.
I see.
I don't. No, not any of that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that we probably need to end this here soon. I know it's late where you are. So what would you suggest? And Dan, I'm going to ask you right now, is it possible that we talk again because you have so much more? I need to ask you. You have so much more to offer. I know that. But okay, so first of all, everybody, you have to buy Islam, Israel, and the West. And we have the link, and I'll make sure.
Here's my book. Thank you so much for promoting it. Islam, Israel, and the West.
Yeah.
And listen, I make $4 per copy. So it's not about making money.
No, of
Okay.
course not. Yeah.
It's no, I have to tell this to people. It's like people say when they see someone promoting their book, this is a weapon. This is a survival. What is the word that you use? It's like a kit, a survival kit.
Survival kit. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like, so don't look at it as, oh, this is like making Danny a millionaire. Even if I sell 100,000 copy, it's nothing. Okay. So I need people to get hold of this book.
Dan is doing exactly what I am doing, and many other people, is we're trying to get the weapons in your hands, and the information is the weapon. The information is your tool to make sure that you survive and you thrive. Go ahead. Sorry.
The last thing I want to say is this. There was an experiment that I forgot its name. There is a name for this experiment. It took place in the United Kingdom. It's a social experiment. So there was a person, and the experiment is that he gets beaten by someone else in front of 2 times. The first time in front of one person, and the second time in front of 100 people. So they would go to a public place and they will do that acting thing. And they found that when that person was being beaten by another person in front of one guy, that guy tried to help him, tried to stop the attacker. Okay, but when they did the experiment in front of 100 people, no one came to help the guy. So the interpretation of that experiment, I forgot its name. It was that, like, if you are alone,
bystander effect.
Bystander's effect. Yes. Thank you so much. If you are alone, then you feel like you have to do something about it. But if you are among others, you say in your mind, "Oh, let somebody else do this." My message to the people in the West is this: act as if you are alone in this war. Don't depend on someone else to fix it, to fight it, because you will be alone when your rights are stolen from you. Maybe your children. Don't sacrifice the future of your children for your own comfort. So that is my message. Elect the right people. Speak up. Don't remain silent, waiting for someone else to speak.
Powerful words. Thank you so much for helping to, like I say, wake up Westerners, wake up Canadians, wake up Americans, Western Europe. I mean, Europe is itself, now destitute. I mean, we're seeing it. We're seeing uprisings throughout Europe, and do you have any hope? I mean, what you're saying is sounding very
I have
fatalistic. I mean, it sounds like we're near the edge.
Listen, I have hope, and I get my hope from the Bible. Okay, in the Bible, look at the history of Israel as the history of the West. And Israel was in the land of slavery. They crossed the wilderness. They made it to the land of honey and milk. And they had to fight a lot of battles to reach that moment of happiness, of settling in the land.
Yes.
I believe that the West today is in that moment, the moment that they have fought a lot of battles, spilled a lot of blood in order to secure the best achievement in human history. That is the Western civilization, okay? Now look at Israel. Whenever Israel was living peacefully, they turned to idols. They abandoned their identity, who they are. And when they do that, God would take them to the exile. The Western civilization is at that moment where they are forgetting, the Westerners, they're forgetting who they are. they are the truth is not absolute anymore. It's all about relativism. You construct your own identity, your own truth.
Right.
Even gender is not something absolute anymore. You have to construct it. It's like the West has forgotten where it came from, all the battles that it fought to secure freedom, human value, integrity. So now the Western civilization has turned to idols. And whenever you turn to idols, you will be taken to exile, or exile will come to you.
Wow.
And this is what I believe is happening now. This is the exile of the Western civilization. And the solution is this: whenever God sends a prophet to tell the people, repent, remember who you are, remember where you came from. If they repent, the destruction will be spared. They will not be destroyed. And this is the prophetic voices around the world, West. You are one of them. I am one of them. We're telling the West, repent. Repent of losing your values, the foundations that built the West.
Right.
If you repent, you will be spared, and you will be powerful enough to stop the exile.
Amen. Amen to that. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for sharing with me and my audience today. I'm grateful for your time, and I would suggest everybody go out and pick up your book, obviously, to get their toolkit for their family and for their communities. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to say goodbye to the audience. Do you have 10 seconds after this? We'll just catch up.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
God bless you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here on Unscrew the News. This is Bruce Scholl. What an amazing, amazing interview with Dan Burmawi. I appreciate all of your time and all of your insights, sir. But let's stay sane together, people. Keep your head on a swivel. Bruce is out of here. Thank you so much for watching Unscrew the News. I appreciate your participation in freedom in Canada. Share this information and help others to wake up. God bless.